Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Have kind of a random review for you today. These are some Toy Biz Marvel Hall of Fame action figures from the late 90s. Um, Strangely enough, Big Bad Toy Store tweeted out one day about a month or so ago that they came across some inventory of these old 90s figures still on card. um, just randomly in their warehouse, and so they're like, we're throwing them up, and they were like 10.99 a piece or something like that. I mean, I'm trying to remember what these cost back in the 90s. I want to say it was somewhere between like $5 to $8. So I feel like with inflation, that's kind of standard price increase up to about $10, $11, something like that. But I don't know. It just struck me as weird that they had these, and so I just decided to grab them just for some fun nostalgia. You can see on the back here the Toy Biz toll-free customer service number. I'm sure that doesn't work anymore, but hey, 1-800-634-7539. Got some proof of purchase here. 1996 Toy Biz. So there you go. These things are over 20 years old, 23 years old, I guess, if my math skills hold out. Now you can see for some reason here on Spider-Man, I'm thinking, what is this like brown stuff? I thought maybe it was on the bubble, and I think it is ultimately. We'll see. But one of his like interior screws, I don't know if you can see that, is kind of rusted out. So I'm not really sure what happened to this dude. I don't think these got wet because I feel like the cardboard would be warped if that was the case. So I'll have to check that out when I open these up and see what's going on. But you can see they all have a Flair Marvel annual card packed inside. We have Black Costume Spider-Man. We have Venom, Deadpool, and then Wolverine. This is the Wolverine toy that I remember from as a kid. It's the classic yellow and blue with the weird claws that sprung out. Now, the one I remember had the mask. This one does not. So we'll see how this goes. You can even see that the bubble has yellowed on this one. Part of me thought, oh, should I keep these in the package? And then I thought, if I was able to just buy these for $10 a piece, they're probably not worth anything. And strangely enough, most 90s toys, even still on card, are not really worth that much. Like, I always think back of those like 90s Power of the Force figures that you can still buy anywhere for like $5 a piece when you go to conventions and things like that. So I'm just going to open them up, share them with you guys, and we're going to have some fun. If you're as old as I am, you'll remember these figures from your childhood, and hopefully we'll have some good nostalgic fun. Otherwise, we'll just see how they hold up to today's standards. So I'm going to take a minute, open these up, check on Spidey's legs, see why that screw's all rusted out, and I'll be back in a minute. So here are the four figures out of the packaging. We'll take a look at Spidey first. I was able to clean him up a little bit, and for the most part, I think he looks pretty good. It was just for whatever reason, these two screws just rusted out a little bit, and I don't really know why that is, because everything else on the figure looks perfectly fine. So I just kind of unscrewed them a little bit. Was able to kind of just wipe some of the rust away, clean them up a little bit, and then screw them back in. They're not perfect, but it's everything. It's just so weird because everything else is perfectly fine. Even the other two screws on the other legs, all these bolts and other places where the figure is connected, all these joints and everything, and it's fine. So it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad for the most part he's okay because he's a cool looking figure. I love his like sad ghost eyes. I don't know if that was intentional or what, but the eyes are just hilarious to me. Head can move side to side. You have a swivel here in the shoulder as well as a spin all the way around. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. The wrist can go in and out. You have one of these kind of torso things like this. You have a spin at the waist. You don't really have... We kind of have out to the side, but not a lot. It's kind of weird. And then you can kind of kick up like this. 90 degrees in the knee, and then you have a simple swivel in the ankle. But he's a cool little figure. You can definitely do some crazy Spidey poses with him. I don't know what, I guess this is to make him like crawl on the ground. You have the hand like that, and then he's got this hand doing the classic, like thwip. But in this costume, the webbing would have been generated from these sacs on the back of his hands. So technically he doesn't need to do the thwip, but I'm assuming it's a normal Spidey figure that just got repainted. But he's still cool. I like him a lot. He's definitely goofy, and I'm a little bummed that, you know, part of him rusted out. I was able to get the rust spot off his torso for the most part. It's hard to tell. But yeah, it's a fun figure. I like it. I love that he's got the big white Spidey all the way around his body. I think that looks really cool. And I love all the extra joints because for Spider-Man it makes sense. You know, he's always doing all kinds of crazy contorted poses and everything like that. So you could have him swinging around doing something crazy. Also, it just reminds me, I had a figure very similar to this that was the normal suit that had all the extra posability, and I really loved it as a kid. That was like the Spider-Man figure I played with the most. So it's kind of like the nostalgia of that figure, but with the black costume, which is my favorite costume for Spidey. So this, when I saw this, it was definitely one I wanted to pick up because I thought it would be a lot of fun, and it definitely is. Little rusted screws aside, I was able to fix that, and I definitely, as he knocks everyone over, I definitely think he's a cool little figure, and I'm glad I decided to pick him up. Speaking of picking up, we'll go with Deadpool next. We'll make Venom stand up, but we'll go with Deadpool next. I think Deadpool is really fun, except for the fact that when I went to move his arm, it almost split the torso in half. If you're familiar at all with how these figures work, you can see that there's a seam. Maybe you can't see it because it's in black, but there's a seam all here along the center where the two pieces of the torso, after the arms were put in and legs were put in and head was put in, it was closed up and then sealed. And I went to move the arm, and it just kind of wrenched that seam apart. And I went, oh no, oh no. Quick pushed it back together, and it seems to be holding. So it's not too bad. But you have this head, which I feel like the head's just a little off. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't fit perfect with the neck that's already started there. I mean, up here, like the design and the paint of the head is okay, but just the way it kind of floats up here. You have arm movement here, 90 degree in the elbow. You can see he's got this weird, like, first of all, this looks like a jigsaw. So apparently he's going to come do some remodeling around your home. But he's got this weird, like, spring-loaded gimmick that's just kind of weird, but it's built into the hand, so it's not like you can remove it or anything like that. This hand is normal. Again, you have the same movement at the shoulder and elbow. He's got these little short swords. The cool thing is you can put the short swords in this little spot in the back. There are holes here, so you can go ahead and put that there. Both of those can come out, and he can hold either one of those swords. So I think that's a pretty cool touch. I like that you can store them in the back. And overall, the paint, I think, is pretty well done. He's got pretty standard waist, or I should say hip, not really waist, but hip, and 90 degree bend there. So that's pretty standard for figures of this time. But overall, I think he looks good. I think the articulation's there. I think the paint applications are definitely there. And I love the fact that you can store the two swords in his back. So that's very, very cool. Yeah, he's pretty fun. I like him. Next up, we'll check out Wolverine. He comes with an Uzi for some reason. For all those times Wolverine used an Uzi. In any case, this is definitely like one of the quintessential Toy Biz figures that I remember from being a kid. This Wolverine in the yellow and blue costume. Paint applications all look good. You have standard shoulder, 90 degree in the elbow. This one, unfortunately, you can see where the paint kind of went into the joint, and so it's a little messed up there, but for the most part it's fine. You have the springy claws, typical hip and knee joint there, and then he's got this thing where you're supposed to put the hands up like this and then use this little plastic ridge here to kind of turn this quickly from side to side, like to simulate slashing action. It's not spring loaded or anything, although it almost sounds like it when I do that. But he's just supposed to slash quickly from side to side. I don't know. Like I said, the figure that I remember was this, but he had the mask, and they did an unmasked version later on, so I guess for the Hall of Fame, they just went with the unmasked. But this is definitely something from my childhood, like, immediately takes me back, because this was the Wolverine figure from this Toy Biz line, and it's awesome to have it here. So he's definitely a lot of fun. But we're going to move on now to my absolute favorite, Venom. and I'll show you why he's my favorite. One, I love this expression. He's got the crazy teeth. I like the way the eyes are done. I just think he looks kind of spooky, which is perfect for Venom. I like it quite a bit. Again, typical kind of shoulder, 90 degrees in the elbow there. You have the kind of swivel at the waist there, 90-degree in the knee. So he's got pretty basic articulation, but he looks good. The head does not swivel at all, and you'll see that's because he's got this lever on his back. Now, he does have the white spider on both the front and the back, but if you pull that lever down, he's got a tongue that sticks out, and that is just absolutely hysterical. I love it. I think that's fantastic. Such a ridiculous action feature, but even just the figure looks good on his own. He's got good paint applications, good articulation. I really like him quite a bit, and then that tongue is hilarious. He even comes with this weird, like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Obviously, it's like the symbiote that you're supposed to put on his chest, but it just kind of looks weird and out of place. I don't know if it's supposed to be like, you know, the symbiote is like adhering to his body, so it's supposed to be like he could take it on and off, and then it's like to simulate this take, or maybe you're supposed to shoot it at somebody else, and maybe it's supposed to be like the symbiote's trying to take a hold of them. So maybe like if the symbiote was taking control of Wolverine or something like that. I'm really not sure. I don't really understand what this is for, but it is included, and it is a thing that exists. But crazy tongue action. Venom is definitely the winner in my book. But like I said, are they the best figures? No. There's obviously been better figures, but back in the day when you were a kid and this was really all you had going on for Marvel figures, they were pretty decent. I mean, they really were not bad, especially for, you know, $5-6 a piece back in the day. They have decent articulation, basically 2 points per limb. Head swivels usually, nice accessories, good paint applications. Funny gimmicks like, you know, the side-to-side slash or the tongue spring action, or just being super multi-jointed for Spider-Man. They were pretty fun little figures, and I have to say, I'm glad I picked these up because the nostalgia is definitely there. And a few of these I didn't have. Like, I had Venom figures, but I don't think I had this specific one because I definitely do not remember that tongue spring action. I don't think I ever had a Deadpool back in the day because I didn't really know too much about Deadpool when I was a kid. And like I said, I think I had a regular costume Spider-Man, but not a black costume Spider-Man. And if I did have this Wolverine, there was another Wolverine that was in the brown and yellow costume that had claws that went all the way in because his arms were stuck straight. So they went all the way up into his arm, and then you would flick them out and they'd pop all the way out. They weren't very long, but these always stay out, and that gives him the ability to have the elbow joint, because the other one I had did not have an elbow joint. So I know I had the brown and orange costume from later on in the Uncanny Run. This was his like original costume. I don't know if I had this figure or not. In either case, it was a fun bit of nostalgia, and since I didn't have most of these, I thought, why the heck not? Let's pick these up. It's crazy that BBTS even had them, and I had to bite. I couldn't say no to such a weird opportunity. I don't know if they still have them on their site or not. I think they might have a few. They also had other ones besides these. These were just the 4 that I decided to grab, because I think BBTS had them for, I want to say, $10.99 a piece, which again, for inflation, I feel like is fair, but at the same time, I wasn't about to go buy like 100 of these, you know. But I'm glad I picked up the ones that I did. Oh, I forgot to show off the cards. So let's check out these crazy cards that we have here. So this says Duo Blast. Is that what that says? God, I can't read that. I think that says Duo Blast 3 of 3 War Machine. Flare 95 Marvel Annual. That's what that says. So crazy holofoil effect cards. Oh, I see. Okay, it's got Iron Man on the other side. Well, that's really cool. That must be what Dual Blast is. Man, remember Iron Man's like 90s costume? That was hilarious. But that's kind of cool. So over here we have Strange. And then this guy has like these are actually numbered cards used to collect these, and they had little bios and stuff on the back. So, operating from his new underground base in the Trinity Church Cemetery, Dr. Stephen Strange created Strange, a powerful Indestructible elemental surrogate to carry out missions in the outside world. Well, there you go. Looks kind of neat. And then we got Mystique here. Super close-up of Mystique's face. And then we got Deadpool. So there you go. And I don't think this one even came with Deadpool, which is kind of hilarious. So I gotta say, these are cool, but I gotta say that the War Machine Iron Man double card is probably my favorite. That's a really cool thing. So yeah, crazy little trading cards. Ooh, that one's all bent up. But yeah, these were, I mean, they used to do, back in the 90s, they had tons of Marvel trading cards. Crazy holofoil ones. I remember the Marvel Masterpieces. They were like a big deal. They were kind of pricey. But they definitely had tons of trading cards back in the 90s. And even some trading card games like Overpower, if anyone remembers that. But in any case, that's it for this video. I think these guys are kind of fun. You could definitely find these, you know, if you just want to grab some used ones, yard sales, eBays, farmers markets, flea markets, things like that. These things are everywhere. Conventions. If you're looking, you could probably still find them on card. You could probably just find them loose. I think they hold up pretty well as far as, you know, like loose figures these days. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hopefully you had fun down this nostalgia lane with me. Otherwise, if these are brand new to you and you've never seen them before, hopefully you can appreciate how far figures have come from 20 years ago. So like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.